name tags and see if anybody knows the
No.
difference between you two? You're senior,
I think
you're
they
supposed
would.
to do that.
I don't wear my hair down.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our student-athlete press conference with Nebraska student-athletes Britt Prince and Alexis Markowski. For those wishing to ask a question, just raise your hand. We'll give you the microphone. Just state your name and media affiliation. And for those on Zoom, if you would like to ask a question, just use the raise your hand function in the Zoom, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. With that, we'll open it up to questions.
Brent from the Lincoln Journal-Star. Lex, what way does being in the NCAA tournament feel like a big deal?
Well, it's really exciting. March is the time of year where every basketball player wants to be playing in, especially in this tournament. And I've experienced it twice, and there's also been a season where I haven't. And from that season, I just learned how tough it is to make this tournament and to compete in it. So I'm just feeling really excited to be here for my third season and just excited to play some games.
Matt Coatney, Huskers Radio Network. Britt, what has it been like learning how to play offensively with Alexis Markowski this year? When did you feel comfortable getting her the ball in a position where she best can use it? And at what point, or do you feel comfortable right now? You look pretty comfortable out there.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to play with Lex, and I feel like every time I throw the ball up to her, like she's gonna catch it no matter what. So it's really fun to play with her, and I think our pick and roll especially is something that's a big strength of ours, and I think we have a pretty good two-man game, and but yeah, it's been a lot of fun to play with Lex. Just gonna cherish the last couple games that we get to play together.
Britt, what's been your experience watching NCAA tournament, thinking about playing in the NCAA tournament? What was that part of your basketball following?
Yeah, I mean, I think ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to play in the NCAA tournament and just watching as many games as I could every March, at school or whatever and stuff. And I think just being here now in this position, it's really special, and I'm really grateful to be here, and I just want to take it all in.
What do you mean by at school? Like you had one of those teachers who pulled it up?
She'd go to her mom's office.
I don't know, just pull it up on my computer and my phone,
Are you allowed to have your phone at school?
Yeah, for that.
Lex, what are you seeing from Louisville? What do you think it'll be like in the paint? How they're going to defend you, and what you're going to have to do well to be productive there?
I think they're going to guard me one-on-one. It's going to be a really physical battle on both sides of the floor. So just working on getting deep post positioning. And then also just they're really good at offensive rebounding. So rebounding will be huge, not only for me, but our team.
Lex, as you wind things up now, every team is different. You had Jazz Shelley on your first three teams. How different has this team been than the other 3 years? Or maybe better asked, what will you remember about this team that's been different than your other 3 years?
I think every team that I've played on here has been different, even though we've brought back some of the same pieces. But this year, I think all I knew for 3 years was playing with Jazz, and Britt has just done such a wonderful job of, I'm not going to say taking over Jazz's role, but being that point guard position. She's been so much fun to play with. As a freshman, she's just so confident, and I swear I tell her every time she gets the ball to shoot it. So that's been really fun, and I think this season there's been just a lot of ups and downs with injuries and players going down, and Natalie started this season as our leading scorer, and we lost that. And then with Allison Widener finally coming back and playing, and then losing that as well. But yeah, I just think our mentality this season and just to get to this tournament, a lot of people didn't think that we would, just with losing those two girls. but we stuck together and we just kept getting better and leaning into each other, and that's something that I'll remember about this team.
Lex, the long break in between the Big Ten, what do you think the emphasis was? What do you think Coach Amy had on top of the practice sheet, or did she tell you you had it on top of the practice sheet?
We worked on a lot of different things. 2 weeks with no games is a long time. You don't really get that in season. We get 4 days off for Christmas, so that's kind of a long time to have off. But yeah, we said that our goal was to get better. The teams that get better in that stretch usually win games in March. So I think just rebounding and just ball screen defense, things like that. I feel like we worked on a lot of offensive execution, handling pressure, and also just breaking presses, which Louisville will press us tomorrow.
Brett, if you can remember back to October, if you could go back to October and tell yourself this will be your biggest surprise when you get to March, what's been the biggest surprise now, looking back, that you didn't realize about being a college player now that you're heading towards the end of your first season?
I feel like it's just being ready every game, and I already knew that like every game was gonna be tough, stuff like that. But like really, you can't have an off night against any team, especially during like Big Ten play and stuff like that. But yeah, I think just always being prepared, knowing the scout, knowing what you're doing coming into the games. I think that's something that's really important, and you can't take that lightly and expect to win games.
Is there any other questions? Well, ladies, thank you for your time today, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hello, everyone, and this is our last press conference session with Nebraska head coach Amy Williams. Coach, congratulations on being here, and thank you for being here. If you'd just like to start out with an opening statement, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Okay, sure. Just really excited to be dancing, and the weather right now in Texas a little different from what we left yesterday in Nebraska, and thrilled and excited to be having the opportunity to pursue another championship with this team. I just love coaching this group. It's a team that has overcome a lot this season, and we've kind of grown into kind of a special and tight-knit group, and just excited to have another chance to get on the court with them.
Stephen Hawkins with the AP. Jeff was in here earlier. He said he'd still bet on you in any horse game. So he's still. But,
that's interesting. Because I think I remember Coach Walls telling me to not shoot it. So I don't know. I may or may not have been a defensive specialist in Jeff's mind, but yeah.
But anyway, kind of reflecting back, I mean, I think you've only faced him once as a coach. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So, but talk about just, the relationship maybe that y'all had, and that, going back to when he was a young assistant. Now he's been at Louisville doing it for a long time. You're trying to get Nebraska going, built and keep going. Just talk about that relationship and what it meant back then and what it means now.
Yeah. Well, I'm really appreciative. I feel like I was blessed to play for a couple of outstanding head coaches when I was a student athlete at Nebraska, and the coaching staffs there. I still do drills that Jeff Walls and Paul Sandiford brought to Nebraska when I was a senior, and several drills from those coaches that just helped mold me, and I really consider Jeff one of those. He's obviously gone on to have an incredible career in women's basketball, but what I'm so appreciative of is if I pick the phone up and call him to ask about, some of the changing landscape, and maybe it's, NIL stuff or how things have, grown, he's always just been the first to be willing to, just mentor me and talk through things. And, I enjoy, running into him on the road, recruiting, and just being able to share ideas. And I still continue to learn from him, even though I'm not his student athlete anymore.
Alexis Cubitt, Louisville Career Journal. Kind of going off of that, what was 1999 Nebraska assistant coach Jeff Walls like? 'Cause we see him now as a person, but has he always been a very outspoken person, or what was he like at that time?
Yes, he's always been just very outspoken, and but just full of energy. The passion that you see, and it's just so just incredible to watch the way that that just has not diminished at all. But certainly as a young assistant coach, he had that fire. He used to. When we weren't maybe doing something quite right in practice, he'd just grab the ball and come out and show us. And his, I don't know, 24, 25-year-old self, I don't know. He was really a young assistant coach at that time, but, he could still hoop a little bit. And so he wasn't afraid to get out on the court and show us the right way to do things. But just the one thing I'll always just remember is just, he's just incredibly passionate as a coach, but was really caring, and we knew that he was somebody we could go to with anything that we needed.
Brent from the Lincoln Journal-Star, you said you love coaching this team. I guess what are some of the specific things that you've loved about this group that maybe isn't always the case 100% every single year?
This is a team that genuinely celebrates each other's successes at a high level. And I think it starts with, a couple of our seniors, just, Kendall Moriarty, Kendall Coley. They've been in our program for a very long time. And whether their role has been playing a couple minutes here or there or starting and playing, over half the game, they throw themselves into celebrating each other, celebrating their teammates, celebrating celebrating at a high level, and it's just become addictive for the rest of our team. And I think it's just influencing the whole group to really be excited. And, they say they want to play for each other, and you can see that in the way that they lay it on the line for each other. And I just think back to our overtime win at Iowa this year. And, Alexis Markowski fouled out of the game, but she grabbed all those kids in a huddle and she's like, we're going to win this game. And she was still over on the bench celebrating. We got a shot clock violation in overtime, and she was, dancing to it and just celebrating at a high level. And in that particular game, there's close-up video of Allison Widener grabbing Lex during one of the timeouts and coaching her up and giving her instructions, and Natalie Potts grabbing Britt by the face when she came off the court, making a huge shot to tie the game. And just those clips, those moments, those things, those are the reasons why this group is special. It's why we're here in the tournament, and it's why I absolutely love coaching them.
Matt Coatney, Huskers Radio Network. Amy, as you get ready to face Louisville and you're watching this team on tape, the Big Ten and your non-conference schedule obviously has put you in a great position to face anything. With Cochran, with Curry, with Roberts, all the great pieces Louisville has, is there a team you face this year that Louisville reminds you of in terms of the style that they play with bigs and being deep and good three-point shooting and good defense?
What a great question, Matt. I think, I think they bring their own challenges, but when my husband was watching film with me at home over my shoulder, and he's kind of like Ohio State in some ways, and they like to be able to, they're going to full court press, and all of a sudden they're trapping ball screens and really aggressive defensively and deep, and lots of kids that can impact the game, and they like to push tempo and really get out and run in transition, and so I think maybe that's the team that comes to mind from the Big Ten Conference that we feel like resembles. But I told our kids that Destiny Adams is an outstanding offensive rebounder in our league, and when you watch them, I said it's like Destiny Adams times 5 on every possession. So they have a lot of kids that'll crash the glass like that, and that's what we're expecting. That's what we really respect when we watch them and prepare for them.
Amy, obviously you guys had to make quite an adjustment when Natalie got hurt very early in the season, and I think you've had another knee injury as well. Talk about how a team responds from something like that when such a big piece gets taken out so early.
Yeah, I think it can go multiple ways, and we spent a lot of time talking about that, and we do spend a lot of time in our program talking about response and how we respond. And I've already mentioned kind of the way this team celebrates each other's successes and the way they respond to positive things when they're happening, but the response to adversity when things aren't going well is something we take a lot of pride in, and that we really focus on and spend a lot of time talking about. So when Natalie Potts, who's your leading scorer, leading rebounder, the freshman of the year in the Big Ten Conference a year ago, goes down after the 5th game, we spent some time talking as a group about we can respond to this however we choose. And this is a team that chose to honor Natalie with the way we respond and try to channel and say, okay, Natalie's not out there to get us 10 rebounds a game, but can I give 2 extra? Can I get 2 more, kind of in her honor, and kind of just trying to channel and find ways to bring the things that, her. And then a little later in the season, Allison Widener, who missed all season last year with a knee injury, came back, fought so hard to get back, I think is the reason we beat Michigan State at home. And then all of a sudden she goes down about an hour before we get on the plane to go play Rutgers. And once again, we find ourselves in that same exact position where how are we going to respond to this? And felt like a gut punch in both of those cases, but most certainly the way our kids responded to that, I'm incredibly proud of. We wouldn't be here if they hadn't made the choice to respond the way they did. But more importantly than that, it just thrills me to think about these young women in their future when they face similar adversity and situations, and the way that they choose to overcome.
Chase Madison, Tel Aviv, and Lincoln. Amy, obviously it's going to be smiles and some nice camaraderie pregame tomorrow with Jeff, but just kind of going back to that relationship, how are you hoping your team kind of focuses in, but then yourself as a coach kind of flips the switch maybe once the ball is tipped to really lock in for an NCAA tournament game?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something that we've been working for a very long time. And we've got players like, Alexis Markowski, who have just left their blood, sweat, and tears into this program, and the things they've been fighting through, our kids to be in this moment. So, it'll be awesome to reconnect. But once that ball is tipped up, it's all business and what needs to happen on every possession for us to be successful, because this is a group that's really motivated to want to extend their stay in this tournament and to continue to fight together.
Amy, kind of backing off of Chase's question, I think about Alexis Markowski's freshman year when you ironically were in Louisville, and then the experience last year, not only making the trip to Corvallis, winning a game, but going to the Big Ten championship game and taking Iowa to overtime. You've got a group of players, not just those seniors, but a Callan Hake, a Logan Nisley, people like that. How different is your approach if you think back to Alexis's freshman year to playing Gonzaga to where they are today in terms of not your approach or what the coaching staff says, but what you sense in your locker room about their approach to this? Is it the same as it was 3 years ago, or has that changed any?
I think it's changed. I think that you don't, win 3 games in the Big Ten tournament and with a really close overtime loss to Iowa, who ends up eventually in the national championship game a year ago. You don't taste that kind of success, or the win in the NCAA tournament a year ago. You don't taste that kind of success, and then it doesn't change things for you. It does. It's like once you get that, there's a different kind of hunger and starvation to get it back, I think. And I won't say that when we went to Louisville, Lex's freshman year, we were just happy to be there. I'm not going to say that, but I think that there's a different sense of hunger for this group because they've tasted a little bit of success and they want that back.
Are there any more questions for Coach? Well, Coach, thank you for your time today, and good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone, for being here.